We'll be speaking about, as I covered yesterday, I spoke about vegetarian, vegan food and the way of eating and how that could affect you, why you should be vegetarian, why you should be vegan. And today I'm mostly going to be cover now, how does being vegetarian and vegan helps you in your spiritual growth, in your spiritual awakening. So I'm not necessarily saying that, for example, dairy is bad. Dairy from the meat industries and the farms that kills the cows and kills the animals, and you're receiving that milk is what's bad. If you are getting the milk, for example, from um, Ishkan, which they have multiple farms where they treat the cows traditionally. They don't they're all vegetarian, they're all vegan, and they all do not kill their animals, they don't kill their cows, and they raise them as per Vedas and Nagamas traditionally, how cows should be taken care of. Then that's different. Me, usually I am half and half because when I'm in India in the ashram and living with my guru and the community, we take care of the cows, and so we are able to consume the milk there. But other than that, outside, and whether it's in the US, Europe, UK, consuming dairy products is not safe. And for many reasons that you might know of already, whether it's the hormones that they use in the uh in the cows, they use steroids, they use growth hormones, they use artificial food for the cows. They're not free range, they're caged up since they're born and they die caged up. And I explained yesterday about some of these things and the things that are stored when these animals go through this experience, how this gets stored in their muscle memory and bio memory. It's not something where the doctor can only see it. This is something where you have to experience it yourself, because even if it's something as small as you having a leaky gut, for example, if you go to the doctor, that is something that they're not most likely going to diagnose you with. That's actually, there's so many different diseases and illnesses that doctors are not either trained or they're not going to diagnose certain diseases and illnesses. You know how many times, or I've heard people go to the hospital, they know something's wrong with their body, and the doctor was like, "You're fine, go home." Means what? It means you have to start taking care of yourself, because the doctors are not the one there who's praying for, the whole world to be healed and no one will ever be sick again. No, they rely on people being sick so that they have work. That also includes the colleges and the schools. It's all third party bias interest and them wanting to just make money. It is just all a monopoly. Okay. So today we're going to be speaking about how, further elaborating from yesterday's conversation, how being vegan and how being vegetarian contributes to your spiritual awakening. And the video from yesterday will be posted on YouTube. I'll share it on my timeline and on a page. Definitely recommend for anyone who missed it to watch it. And for anyone who did watch it, please watch it again, because there might be some information that will click with you now compared to when you watched it the first time. So some of the things that I'm going to address here is a very important need for human beings for their physical, psychological, and social fulfillment, right? So awakening your potential energy, the inner potential energy and potential bioenergy, when this energy is awakened, the possibilities which open up for you and how this can be awakened through the vegetarian diet, which is also what we refer to as sattvic diet. So that includes no onion, no garlic, no animals. That also includes fish and eggs. No white sugar, because what they use to and I'll go over specifically. I'll make a whole separate video on sattvic diet, but for now, just to mention over the basics. The white sugar also is something that is bleached with animal bones. Okay, and Then also no cauliflower because there are insects that gets trapped in the vegetable that it's too hard to find them, where you either end up cooking them alive and eating them dead, or you don't cook it high enough in temperature and you end up eating them alive. Okay, so um when this energy is waking up for you, okay, all of us know the health benefits of vegetarian food. Okay, I'm not going to get into that now. I am really going to look into what is inner potential energy, which is considered bioenergy. And one thing I forgot to mention yesterday is the bioenergy, which comes from your mother, which is the blood, is responsible for your belief, for your beliefs in this life, how you are going to take up dharma, belief, spirituality, things like this in this life. All right. So the first important fact I wanted to present to all of you is you have more possibility than you are. Okay. This is the beginning of life. See, who you think as you have more possibility than the idea you have of you. Because with the idea of you also have your self doubt, self hatred, self denial, something we call SDHD. And, you have uh, all these things that you carry with you that when you want to do something or you want to accomplish something, all these things come up and you end up not doing it. Okay. So you have more possibility than you are. Okay. And that is the beginning of life in any philosophy, any way of living, any way of thinking, and any religion, thinking tradition. Like you have more possibility than what you are now. The more possibility is what we call bioenergy, inner potential energy. Okay. So in Sanskrit, we have the word Kundalini. Okay. You can see in your own life when your power of feeling, your power of emotions expressed along with your power of words and power of thinking. So the energy you express will totally be different. All right. I will give you this as an example. When you utter some words, if you feel, if your feeling is not associated with it, you know very clear what kind of impact you create with that word inside you and outside you. Okay. So thinking and the feeling infuses energy into your thinking in any words. Okay. Even while you are thinking, if your feeling is not associated with it, what kind of impact that thinking does inside you and outside you. Okay. So feeling infuses energy into your thinking and words. Okay. So I'm going to repeat that again. Thinking, no, feeling, your feelings, emotions, energy. Feeling infuses energy into your thinking and words. There is something in you which infuses energy into your feeling. That is what we call Kundalini, bioenergy, bio memory. Okay. So that's your inner potential energy. All of these different words are used, but it explains and expresses this one concept, the power which resides in you and gives power to your feeling. So all of you can understand how your power gives life to you. You all know if your feeling is associated with a certain word, how that word becomes alive for you. If your feeling is associated with your thinking, how that thinking becomes alive for you. Right? Like for example, let's say you get aroused, for example. How when you go ahead and if you might speak to your partner or utter some kind of word to yourself, how that lust just come and tips off of your tongue. Your your skin gets hot. Or let's say you think about food, it's coming from where the feeling of hunger happening inside. Okay. So this is what I mean by if your feeling is associated with your thinking, how that thinking becomes alive for you. But unfortunately, we do not know how our feelings gets empowered. The energy which empowers your feeling is inner potential energy, the bioenergy, which is what we call Kundalini. So now I wanted you to understand how the various diets impact that inner potential energy. So the first truth I wanted to present in front of all of you is you become what you eat. And that goes for anything. So you eat, that becomes you. One part of what you eat becomes your bones, your muscles, your flesh, your blood. One part of what you eat becomes your words. You got to remember, you're not just this, and you're not this actually. You're just using this right now. This is yours for now. But you need to understand your words, your thoughts, your energy is also part of you. It's not you, but it's part of you. One thing will get very clear right now, you're not the body and you are not the mind. You are just consciousness. You are consciousness. And we'll get into that in a later video. So one part of what you eat becomes your thinking, and one part of what you eat becomes your feeling. So now we have the aspect of your emotions and how with what you eat affects your emotions. One part of what you eat becomes your being. Okay, so you guys need to understand when people says that they are fine, when doctors say, "Oh, it's safe," it's still claimed that eating meat and animals, to be exact, is safe. Who's the one who's saying it's safe? I remember very clearly, I recently learned that a long time ago, doctors used to claim that it was safe and healthy to smoke cigarettes. Now it's a thing where it's not healthy. One thing you guys need to understand, a doctor is just like a politician. A doctor can be bought just like a politician. There is no difference between a doctor and a politician. And when I say doctor, I mean like mainstream doctors. I'm not talking about sincere doctors. The sincere doctors we're very grateful for. But for majority of the doctors, mainstream doctors, they can be bought to go out and say anything into the world. Means what? Even if you read an article about something where they're saying vegetarian and vegan food, it's not good and why will it mess you up? Listen, you have to do your own research and you have to experience for yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to be getting the wrong information and you'll end up being the person who ends up suffering for not taking the responsibility of seeing what is needed for you when it comes to deciding to become vegetarian or become vegan. Because a lot of people is in the US, UK watching this right now, obviously it would just be vegan for you. And I will be coming up with further videos how this is not something that's difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult and it's not hard. And for many of you who was saying that it's impossible to avoid chemicals, it's not impossible to avoid chemicals. It's not. Um, if you're talking about something as complex as your water source, okay. But I'm talking about what you're intentionally putting, what you're intentionally going out and buying, and then bringing home to feed to your kids and to your family. You have to think about what you're doing to them. Okay. So thank you all and have a blessed